Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Aldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we're loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping with news that's jaw dropping. They're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
There you go.
If you only knew the power of the dark side, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
I think that's a good way to bring us in.
Yeah.
Just a little tribute to James Earl Jones, who passed away yesterday at the age of 93. Big part of us growing up. I know you're a big Star Wars guy. I'm not, but he's just an iconic. He's an iconic actor.
An iconic actor,
Yes.
an iconic voice.
Yes.
He was.
He's that.
He was Mufasa in Lion King.
Yes.
I mean, listen,
Darth
he's
Vader, obviously.
Yeah, he was in
the voice of
Field
Vader.
of Dreams.
Oh yeah.
He was in
Sandlot.
Sandlot. I mean, there's
Dude.
so many things he was in. No matter
Coming to
what,
America.
I know. No matter what,
Dude.
Coming to America. No matter what you, no matter what your genre was, no matter what movies you watched, what movies you liked and didn't like, you saw something that he was in or he voiced over.
Yeah.
He's been a big part of everybody's lives. If you've been into any type of movies at all,
That's the type of guy, like, if you want somebody to narrate your life, that's the
That's-
voice you want.
absolutely.
That's the voice you want. Because it's so iconic.
Dennis said, "People will come, Ray."
Yes, they will. We tried to find that, but we were otherwise busy, unfortunately. that couldn't happen.
Yeah,
That's
there
why
was. Yeah.
And that's why we got to the show late. And as I say that, let's introduce you to episode 153 of Sports on Tap Detroit.
Yes.
I'm Chris Scott alongside Joe Waddell. So yes, we tried to get that scene, but if you've ever had to deal with a certain telecommunications company, and I think you guys all know which one I'm talking about.
They're big in the internet world.
They're big in the internet world. Their commercials are all over the freaking place.
Yeah, X marks the spot.
X marks the spot. That's perfect. If you've ever had to deal with that company, you probably know how bad their customer service is. And I just witnessed it firsthand for about 45 minutes or so.
45 minutes of the 2 hours
Yes.
that I was on the phone
Yes.
with them.
So
2 hours on the
Yes.
phone with them. I'll explain just a little bit to tell you what kind of a fucking mood I'm in right now.
Yeah.
First of all, tried the mobile app, didn't work. Then tried the internet, tried the website, didn't work. Tried to chat with an agent, didn't work. Tried to text with an agent. Their solution was either call the number or go into your local X marks the spot store.
Yes.
So I decided to call the number, which I ended up getting the runaround with the voiceover, and not the James Earl Jones voiceover. It's the shitty lady on the phone that tells you you're not saying something clear enough or it doesn't understand
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And I never got an agent. So I went into the store. They told me I had to either call the number or log into the app to do what I wanted to do. Well, I displayed in front of them that the app was not working for me, showed them. They had me reset my password, which they thought was going to work, and I was like, oh, yeah, bet it doesn't. So But long story short, didn't work. They had reset my password. I reset it in front of them. I tried it in front of them again. Did not work. They said, well, you have to call the number. Here's the number. Okay, call the number. I was on the phone with them for it was 2 hours and 5 minutes by the time I hung up with them. Chris witnessed probably about a half an hour of that, maybe 45 minutes of it. Unbelievable. And then they tried telling me I had to call another number to get it done.
Which was the same number.
It was the same fucking number I called to get them.
That's even better. It's the same
Sir,
number.
you have to call this number. Okay, what's that number? They give me the number. I go, it's the same fucking number I called you on. What?
Excellent.
I got nothing right now. I got nothing right now, folks.
Their customer service, this X Marks the Spot company, their customer service is about as bad as how Michigan looked on Saturday.
I thought you were going to say the Cleveland Browns, but, you know.
We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. But it's about as bad as Michigan looked on Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, we kind of saw this coming, right?
Oh, yeah.
Without a quarterback, a competent one anyway.
I thought they would keep it at least a little closer.
I did too because of their defense. However, when your defense continually gets put in horrible spots,
yes,
because your offense literally can't do anything, it's only a matter of time before the floodgates just open, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to crush the defense. I'm not. I think they did about as good as could be expected given their circumstance.
Yep.
But that offense, holy shit, man. And I was at a buddy's house watching this game, and he's like, well, you can't blame the quarterback. You got to blame the situation he's put in. And to a degree, I do agree with that. However, there was certain throws that I'm like, I don't care who the fuck this is. You have to make those throws. You're a starting quarterback in Division 1A college football. You have to make those throws.
Yeah.
So, yeah, while I said I agree with him to a certain degree that he shouldn't even be in that spot to begin with, you are, dude. And if you are, those are throws that they believe you can make. And if you can't make them, that's a fucking problem.
Well, not really, because you can still get $230 million guaranteed if you go to the Browns and you could not make those same throws.
Yes. We will get to that.
I know.
We will get to that. I can't wait to get to that, honestly. You know what? Fuck it. We said pretty much all we needed to say about Michigan.
No. Let's work our way through.
Okay, all right.
I'm just going to keep dropping fucking shit in there because that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. It was so
By Davis
bad.
Warren or Deshaun Watson? Yes.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes. Dennis says, but he's a walk-on.
And Dennis, you're right.
Defending it. I mean, that is true, too.
Dennis, you're right. You're absolutely
you're
right. How do you not go out and get in the portal and get somebody? Like, how do you be that arrogant as to think that you guys had somebody on the roster already that could be even remotely as good as J.J. McCarthy was? And J.J. wasn't even that good.
I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to because I figured I'd get hate for that. But
no, he wasn't even that good.
J.J. McCarthy was.
He was a game manager.
He was good.
He was solid.
He was aight.
It was like Eli.
I mean, like
honestly, he was like Eli.
Eli with the Giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what he was.
Eli in college was actually better than
Fair,
that.
but
Eli
he was like Eli with the Giants. Yes, that's what he was, and that's all he needed.
That's all he needed to be.
Yes,
and that got him drafted in the first round.
It did
by Minnesota.
But the QBs you have now are like, I don't even know who to compare it to. I really don't.
Uncle Rico?
Uncle Rico, maybe. And I think he might even been better.
At least he could throw it over the mountains.
At least he could throw it over them fucking mountains. But, yeah, Dennis, you're absolutely right. Like, what defending national champion has a walk-on as their starting quarterback? I don't know. That's a great question.
One.
Yeah, this Michigan.
One defending national champion has had a walk-on as their starting quarterback.
That performance was absolutely... Like, I can't say I'm necessarily disappointed by it because I kind of expected it.
I mean, I expected them to be bad. I just figured they would be a little bit more competitive. They would keep things closer.
Right.
I mean, I knew they weren't making that spread in the first week. There's no way they were going to make that spread in the first week and win by as many points as they're supposed to be giving up.
Right.
And this one, I mean, Texas giving up 8.5 or whatever it was. I thought Michigan would at least keep it close.
I did too. I thought their defense would be good enough to keep
within
it
a
close.
touchdown.
Yeah.
But it was just a full collapse.
It really was.
And I expected it to be bad, but I believe it's going to be, based on that game, it's going to be worse than we thought.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, and if anybody that is a fan of the Maize and Blue thinks that they're gonna stroll past MSU this year,
Hey.
think again, guys, because that same MSU that is a dog shit team and has been for a little while. Well, guess what? You're kind of on that level right now, and they just beat Maryland,
Yeah.
and they were a dog going into that game to Maryland. So
And they actually look somewhat decent doing it.
they didn't look bad.
They did not look bad.
So I mean, listen, if you're a Michigan fan right now, you need to be a realistic Michigan fan, not a delusional one.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know in this area and in a lot of fan bases, we have problems with delusional fan bases. Hey, listen, the Lions fans are finally right for once in their lifetime, and others didn't even get to see it in their lifetime because they lived 80 years and died before it happened. But Michigan fans, we need to be realistic here. And I know a lot of you have trouble with that. It's not going to be a pretty
No,
season.
it's
It's not going to be pretty for probably the next 3 to 5 seasons, guys. It's not going to look pretty. You're not going to like it, but just keep thinking, okay, you watch them, you watched them win a national championship, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to experience that. Now, think about that when you're ready to, kick in your TV on Saturdays. You know what I mean? Like, don't kick in the TV and just think, hey, I got to witness a national championship.
Yeah. And they'll be able to play off that for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and then you've got to figure out how. But the key is you need to figure out how to right the ship,
Yes.
right? And that's going to be the key. Is can they do that?
Yeah. The first priority here: get a fucking quarterback.
That should be the first priority on any football.
Yeah, get a
on
fucking
any
quarterback.
football team.
Get a competent quarterback.
Listen, even if you're an XFL team, like you
Yep.
got to start with the quarterback, right?
Yep.
And that's honestly, I have a great quarterback for the XFL if they want one. His name is Deshaun Watson. He plays for the Cleveland Browns. We'll give him to you for a bag of chips and a
There you
pop.
go. All right. So, in switching off of Michigan's debacle, I want to hop into the NFL. Now, we usually do it like game by game. I think that's kind of we can do that if you want, but
It's up to you.
I mean, well, there's certain games we'll hop into because there's certain games of importance that I do kind of want to get into. But
Yeah.
I guess what is your week one? What are your biggest storylines from week one? Like what your biggest, I guess, takeaways from week one? Overreaction Tuesday.
All right, yeah. So overreaction. So and it's funny you say that. So that's a lot of times that's why I don't even look at the group chats on Sundays
Yeah.
or on the weekends. I'm not. You know me. I'm not a big overreactor to like individual plays or individual games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm very when it comes to football and NFL particularly, I'm very much a calculated.
I have to cut
not
you off really
overreact.
quick, 'cause Dennis brought this up because yes, I did forget about that.
Oh, you forgot about Notre Dame.
At least they didn't lose to Northern Illinois at home.
And you wouldn't have forgotten about that if Frank was actually here, but he's not, unfortunately,
Right.
because he's still dealing with some stuff. But
Sorry.
you would have totally remembered that. And actually, just look over
You know,
your left shoulder.
yeah, you're probably right.
Look
Yeah.
over your left shoulder.
No, I saw
Yeah,
it.
that flag over there. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you can't.
Thank
see
you,
it.
Dennis, for reminding me of that.
Yes. At least it wasn't Notre Dame.
Yes.
Northern Illinois.
Sorry, as you were.
So I'm really not. You know me. I'm not a big overreactor to individual plays. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying you guys are, but like there'll be, oh my God, that was a horrible pick. He sucks, this and that. And I like to just sit there and enjoy the football game and watch plays, and I analyze things more than you guys do. You guys call me a fucking nerd, and I know it. And I just deep dive into this stuff, and I'm not a great person to watch
That's
football.
why we call you a nerd.
Right. I'm not a great person to watch football with because I would rather watch it alone
Yeah.
and actually analyze the game, right? But yeah, so I didn't partake. Eric caught me on Monday and was like, hey, man, I was really hoping you were going to join the chat on Sunday. I was like, listen, man, I don't join those too often on Sundays, but now that I'm not overreacting and now that the overreacting is over with, I'll get into the Cleveland Browns stuff in a little bit. But if you want to overreact to some things, here's an overreaction I think is overblown. Aaron Rodgers is completely done.
He's not.
He's not.
No.
He's not.
No.
If you watch that game, you actually saw he's still making throws.
He does.
And he still made Alan Lazard look like a fucking Pro Bowler.
Right.
So that team will be decent on offense. That defense has some question marks right now.
That was my takeaway from the game.
Robert Saleh needs to listen, if you are a defensive guru head coach
Yep.
and your defense goes out and looks like they did just last night against San Francisco. Now, San Francisco has a good offense, but it was Jordan Mason running the football, not Christian McCaffrey. They made Jordan.
He ran like an animal last night.
They made Jordan Mason look like he was Barry Sanders last night.
Yeah, they did.
Now, that's a problem.
Yep.
If that, and that's not an overreaction, to be honest with you. That they need to write that real quick, or Robert Saleh will be the first guy looking for a job.
Who's the dude that's holding out for them right now? What's his name? I can't remember what it is.
Hassan
Reddick. Yes.
Hassan Reddick. He doesn't make that big of a difference. On the team.
That was going to be my point.
No.
Like if he makes that much of a difference,
he no.
Then you guys got a huge problem.
Look, if that's the case, then you have a bigger problem than just riding the ship right now.
Exactly. So yeah, like San Francisco, like Purdy looked like he had all day to do whatever the hell he wanted last night, and he did. Like that dude's gonna get paid, and it's gonna Brock Purdy.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna get paid, and he's gonna blow up that salary structure in San Francisco.
Oh yeah. Yep. Because his salary cap hit this year is $1 million.
Exactly.
One.
Yeah.
$1 million.
It's about to be like
$1 million.
Yeah, it's about to be like 60.
It's significant. Let's just say it's significantly lower than every other team that is a Super Bowl contender.
Right, because let's see, Dak just got 60. So when Purdy comes up, which is
pretty much every Super Bowl contending team, and even the ones that are just playoff contending teams, their quarterbacks are making like $50 million a year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he's making one.
But he's about to make a lot more.
He's about to make at least. I think he's about to make at least 50.
Yeah, at least. But I guess that's my point. If you look at him, say comparative to like Dak, would you pay him Dak money?
So I don't think Dak is worth Dak money.
I don't either.
So I don't think Purdy is worth.
But he just set the market.
Yeah, he did. But I don't think Purdy is worth what, say, who was the last couple that got the contract? So Dak got his, Trevor Lawrence.
Tua.
So actually, I think Purdy's, at this point, I'd take Purdy over Trevor Lawrence.
I would absolutely take Purdy over Trevor Lawrence.
Who was the other one you said?
Tua.
Tua, yeah. I would, at this point, I would take Purdy over Tua.
Yeah. And they got
and I don't hate on those guys. I think they're good quarterbacks.
Right. But they just both got what, 50? 50 plus?
I think 50 something, yeah. So I mean, he's going to make at least 50.
Yeah, I think he's honestly, since Dak just set the market, I would be shocked if he gets 60.
I mean, he might. He might.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, he's taking the team to a Super Bowl, which is more than Dak has done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's about to get paid and completely blow up that salary structure that San Francisco's got going on right now.
So more overreactions from Sunday.
Yep.
Caleb Williams wins his first ever NFL game, and everyone's praising him.
He did not look good.
Did you see what he looked like? Now, listen, I don't expect any rookie quarterback to look great in their first NFL start of the NFL regular season.
No.
Right? First of all, you played on Saturdays. You can play that video game bullshit on Saturdays. That works. You can play the video game type bullshit on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays during preseason. They'll let it work. Teams will let that work. They'll let you look good. Regular season Sundays, bro.
It's different.
That shit don't fly.
Nope.
And do you want to know who figured that shit out? And this is not an overreaction. Who figured that out? Cleveland's other quarterback they should have right now, Baker Mayfield. He figured that shit out.
He did.
He figured out that video game bullshit doesn't work in the NFL.
It does not.
And his ego needed to take a little bit of a check.
And it did.
And when it did, he's out there slinging the football, and he's got a team backing him. Literally, this is what the team told him. Go out there and throw interceptions. We don't care. Sling it. We want you to be you. You're our leader. We put ourselves behind you. You're our leader. You throw a pick, come back the next play and sling it again. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You're our guy.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Now, look what happens when you do that. And I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he's great.
No.
But he's good.
Yep.
And he's showing he's good.
Yeah. And
but that's what happens.
And I'm not a Baker guy, but
No.
I absolutely agree with this. He's, and I guess
he's
that was
matured as
exactly.
well.
That was my whole thing with him. Is just I was waiting until he got it,
right?
And he finally has gotten it. Like you can have all the bravado and all that shit you want, and that's fine. But if you can't fucking back it up, then, I got a problem with that. But now you can see he has the confidence, and like you said, he's got the team behind him. They all believe in him. Okay, That's a Baker Mayfield I can get behind. Like, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Like, I'm still not his biggest fan, but I respect the hell out of him now because he gets it. Like, okay, now you're cool. You're fine in my book.
Yep.
Like, I don't like now. I basically like nothing you. It's like you're there. You're good.
Now you're there.
Okay, cool.
You're a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I'm
not going to trash you.
but I'm also not going to go out of my way to praise you.
Exactly. Yes. But when you play well, yeah, I'll say you played fucking like the first game of the season. You played well. All last year, you played well. Cool, man. That's awesome. Now, when you play like shit, yeah, you're right. I'm going to dog your ass if you played like shit. But I'm going to do that with any other fucking quarterback if you played like shit.
Speaking of playing like shit,
Yes.
Atlanta's offense did not look good.
Kirk Cousins did not look good.
Well, and here's the other thing about Kirk Cousins, too. And I don't know if you know this, but again, my nerdiness, deep dive bullshit that you guys get on me about.
Yes.
Do you know how many snaps he took from under center?
0.
0.
I know. I heard.
Oh,
the
you know
stat-
that.
I heard this.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
None.
None.
Fucking none.
Yeah, I
they
know.
were all either shotgun
Yeah.
or like just off. Like it was not one time did he have to take a full drop back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why that is?
Because his Achilles is still
Because
fucked
his
up.
Achilles is still fucked up,
Yes,
and he
yes,
can't
I
really drop
know.
back. And he looked like it.
Yep.
He looked like basically he looked like he aged 10 years
He did.
over the last
You
year.
can see he couldn't put pressure on that foot.
No.
So all of his throws look like shit. Now, granted, I will say Pittsburgh's defense actually played pretty well.
He did.
So I'll add that into the equation. However, yeah, so now I guess we know the reason why they drafted Penix.
So, yes, but I don't think drafting Penix was really the right option still.
I don't disagree with you. I'm still kind of like
I get
okay.
Even that day I kind of got why they did it. I didn't think they needed to do it where they did it.
Right.
I think they could have waited until their second round pick and got him, honestly. But
But it also speaks to why they didn't play him at all during the preseason. You know,
Kirk Cousins?
No.
Oh, Penix. Okay.
Yeah. Because I think they knew with Cousins that he wasn't right.
And I'm not saying he's done. I'm saying he's not fully recovered from that injury.
No,
I'm
yeah.
not saying he's washed like Russell Wilson washed or Deshaun Watson washed. I'm just saying he definitely looked ginger out there.
Oh, he
right?
absolutely did.
He was not putting full pressure on that. He was not getting full momentum into his throws.
Nope.
It looked bad.
It really did. Yeah, absolutely. It looked like a guy who either his Achilles is still fucked up, or B just doesn't trust it yet.
And that could be too.
Yeah. So
Because sometimes players get injured
Oh,
and
you
and
don't
they
trust it.
and they have trouble trusting it again. It's a weak spot and they have to get past that somehow.
they do. You're absolutely right. 100%. Let's set up the Lions game. I thought it was a solid game, but you're seeing kind of like what we talked about on Friday, that guys, every team is game planning for you now,
Uh-huh.
and you saw that with the Rams.
I know Lions fans are going to hate hearing me say this, but by all accounts, you probably should have lost that game. And the fact you didn't actually should make you feel better because
Normally, you would lose.
Normally, you would have lost that game.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you had, what was it, a 17-3 lead or something like
I
that?
believe it was, yeah.
So you blew that lead
Yep.
completely. And then were able to come back. And in overtime, you shoved it down their throat and you ran the football in.
Yes, you do.
And you made it look easy in overtime to the point where I was wondering why you didn't do that. So you ran David Montgomery in the first quarter, and he looked good, and he had some solid runs. But then you gave up on that. And the next time you really shoved him down their throat was in overtime when you ran it with him, I think, 3 times,
Yep.
and he stuffed it in the end zone. Man, sometimes I question what the game plan is there. Why do you go away from something that's working in the first quarter? Is it arrogance? Is it the fact that you think you got to try to divide up the ball between everybody that you need to make happy? Does Jahmyr Gibbs need to get a certain amount? Do you need to give a certain amount of balls now to J-Mo? And Amon-Ra was non-existent.
But you know the game plan for him.
And well, yes, Sam Laporta, non-existent. Jamison Williams had a big game, and everyone's touting that. And great, he looked good finally. They took 2 of your biggest guys out of it,
Yep.
and you went away from one of your guys that was working in the first quarter and then went back to him in overtime just to get the win.
Yep.
I question what is going on there. You have a good enough team to compete for the Super Bowl. I'm saying that. I hate it. I want to throw up in my mouth, actually.
But it's factually accurate.
It makes me gag
Yep.
saying that. But it's a fact.
Yep.
But what's going to hold you back are decision-making and making decisions that were made during that game. That game easily could have been lost.
Yeah, it maybe should.
And it would have been on some coaching decisions in there. And I know people are going to say, you just hate him, you're just dogging him because you hate him. No, I'm pointing facts of a football game that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't watch the same football game, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Now, also with that, can we please stop with this Detroit versus everybody nonsense?
Oh, that'll never end.
Like,
That'll never end.
guys, the only people that are like dogging on the Lions are fans of other teams. And that's to be expected because they're fans of other teams.
That's what fans of other teams do.
like national media, they're glazing the fuck out of you guys.
Are you kidding me? The Lions right now are a Krispy Kreme donut
Really?
based on the national media.
They're literally glazing the fuck out of your team. So this whole bullshit narrative of Detroit versus everybody is absurd. Like, stop it.
It's
So I know you guys don't understand how to handle winning because
absolutely not.
Frankly, obviously, with this organization has really never done it.
No.
So I get you don't understand how to handle it, but guys, at least try to act like you've been there before. You know, because you were literally half away from going to the Super Bowl last year.
Yes.
Like I said,
Where you had an actual lead and blew
Yes.
that one as well.
so this whole Detroit versus everything shit is absurd to me.
That will never stop.
I know it's not going to stop, but
It'll never stop in Detroit's mentality. Period. And
Right.
and Lions fans have just adopted it.
right.
It's a Detroit thing. Detroit versus everybody. You know, Detroit hustles harder, and Detroit, which I love being from the area. I love Detroit.
I do too. But
I absolutely
think that's
love
more
it.
that's more accurate than the Lions versus like
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
the Lions would say it. You know,
Yeah,
because
like,
people still shit on Detroit all the time.
But again, they've adopted that.
Yeah.
So that as a city aspect, as residents, right?
Yeah.
We adopted that, and then now they've taken it to the teams as well, and the Lions especially because they feel that everybody's against them. Well, no, everybody just thought you were dog shit for many years because you were.
Yeah.
You were the laughing stock of the NFL. Now you're not. So let's get over that.
Mm-hmm.
And realize that, just like you said, the national media, they are glazing the shit out of you guys right now.
Oh yeah.
You're a Krispy Kreme donut. You're properly glazed.
Honestly, yes. That's actually a very good way to put it. It really is. Except that Green Bay Philly game, which I have to say now, I may have been wrong about the Philadelphia Eagles. It's one game, I know.
It's one game.
It's
Don't
why we do
overreact.
Overreaction Tuesdays.
Don't overreact. It's one game. But I did like what I saw out of them as
I did
far
too.
as the fact that it does. The narrative was out there. We talked about it, that the entire team had given up on Nick Sirianni. Now, we've gone full circle with Nick, right? We thought he was a joke when he took his first press conference, right? Because,
Yep.
I mean, listen, that first presser was fucking bad.
It was bad.
Then
Yeah, it was. Really
we
bad.
gave him due credit,
Yep.
right? He took him to a Super Bowl, like we due credit.
Yes.
Then last year, again, bro, I think you might be done. I think that team gave up on you. It looked bad, right? You
Yeah.
lost both your coordinators. Looks like you can't coach yourself out of a paper bag. Now, this year, it looks like they might, based on one game,
One game.
they might have righted that ship.
Saquon looked like a brand new, like he just came out of Penn State.
Bro.
He looked great.
Yeah, that catch in the end zone?
Oh, dude, I couldn't believe that.
man.
Like, yeah, he looks exactly like how he did when he came out of Penn State. And I think, honestly, it was a change of scenery. It was needed. 100%.
He was rejuvenated.
Oh, absolutely,
I mean,
he was.
listen, he had some injuries early on,
Yep.
but playing for the Giants is enough to run you into the ground.
I think so,
I mean,
honestly.
like playing, you're basically you're playing with Danny Dimes, which I don't know
Oh,
why we continue to
God.
call him that because Dimes is what he's gonna be pinching after he goes broke because they're gonna fucking let him go and he's gonna waste all his
Wait,
money.
you mean the New York Giants of Montreal? Because that's how their freaking jerseys look. Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, that would.
Dude,
Wow.
Yeah, those are bad.
But anyway, so yeah, I think he came into the season on a new team
Yeah.
with a very star-studded cast, right? they've got a lot of guys on that team that are stars.
Yes, they do.
And he's not the only one that's relied upon now. He can be a piece of the puzzle. And I think he came in renewed, and man, he looked good.
He did look good, and it was nice to see because honestly, I thought he was washed. I really did. But again, going to a new situation, you're rejuvenated, and again, you look like the guy that came out of Penn State. You look like the guy that got drafted where he got drafted. So, good for him. I'm happy about that. Well, another thing I will say about this game: can we stop playing games on like ice? These fields, holy shit, man!
Well, and that's on the NFL. They need to.
I know it's on the NFL.
They need to vet these stadiums and fields
God.
before they let their players go there. Well, listen, this is the NFL. They'll do anything for money.
Of course they will.
Like seriously, they will do anything for money. And when it comes down to it, they will. This is the example of what they'll do for money. They will send 2 teams who wear green primarily to go play in Brazil in a stadium that doesn't allow green normally.
Yeah.
On turf that's made for soccer, not football.
Yep.
And put the Green Bay Packers up at a hotel
It's like 2 hours away.
2 hours away from the stadium.
Yeah, that was absurd.
I mean, and all the while the NFL's going, what? Everything looks fine to me.
Yes.
Yeah, of course it does. Because you're over here in the corner
Just
counting your fucking money.
Stacks on stacks on stacks.
Like you're
baby.
just tossing money up in the air and you're doing backflips in it. You're like Scrooge McDuck in his money room.
Making it rain.
Like,
It's like,
and
yeah.
meanwhile, the teams are suffering for it.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
like, do
it's-
better.
I agree with you 100% with this. Just it needs to stop. Like if you're gonna have, obviously you're gonna keep having international games. Frankly, I don't really have an issue with it because I get it. You want to broaden your game. I get it. I understand it.
Do it better.
Do it better. Please do it better. Like you got to be on top of this. Like when the NHL does Winter Classics, like they're actually on top of that ice. Like they're making sure it's actually legitimately playable. So guys, so the puck can move and so it's not all slushy and all that shit. Like the fields have to be better. If you have to put like just that field turf shit down, then do that.
Do anything other than what you did.
Yeah, because it was just like the Super Bowl 2 years ago. It was like that when the field was
Yeah.
like an ice rink. Like it's unacceptable, flat out unacceptable. But you know who's not unacceptable?
Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank.
That's right. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy, Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
Let's go, Buffalo! Let's go, Buffalo!
Well, since you did that, let's get into that.
There you go!
The Bills-Cardinals game. You were right about this, that the Cardinals did look better offensively.
And they're going to get even better, guys.
Which is weird because Marvin Harrison Jr. did like nothing.
And that's why I say they're going to get even better. Like they will get him involved. They will look much better, even better than they did this week.
Yeah. So credit to the Cardinals for playing a solid away game. I'll give them credit for that because once they went up 17-3, I'm like, oh shit, this is not good.
Yeah, it was questionable there for a little bit.
And then Josh Allen went Josh Allen.
Yep.
And I picked him to be an MVP this year. It's a pretty good fucking start for an MVP season. He threw for 232, had 4 TDs. He counted for 4 TDs. 2 passing, 2 running.
Only 5 incompletions.
Only 5 incompletions.
I mean,
I think he had a fumble, but
yeah. I mean, listen, those things are going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Listen, you're just lucky he didn't throw 2 picks and one of them in the end zone, right? I mean,
yes.
That's the type of Josh Allen you can get sometimes.
Yes.
So when you don't get that, you got to thank your lucky stars. All right, we got the unflawed version of Josh Allen.
Right. Now the defense left a little something to be desired. I think they kind of figured it out in the second half a little bit.
They're going to leave a little bit to be desired all year. They got rid of a lot of guys on there,
and I think that it's going to take some time to get to gel together. Again, it's week 1. I get it. But I like in the second half they actually made adjustments at halftime, and they actually worked. So credit to the coaching staff and the players for actually executing the adjustments. That was good to see. I'm happy they got away with the W because they got a tough one coming up Thursday against Miami. I'll take it. You're 1-0 to start the season. I'm happy about that. You're not behind the 8 ball already.
Yep.
So I'll take the W. Like I said, I thought Keon Coleman looked solid for his first NFL game. 4 catches, 51 yards, fine. Like he doesn't have to. That's what I love. He doesn't have to be the guy.
Nobody has to be the guy.
No.
The only thing I would say is Josh Allen's got to use Kincaid a little more, man.
I will. What I'll say
Like,
to that though is
what the fuck?
they game plan for Kincaid. They had him bracketed like the entire game. Like he couldn't throw to him, or else he was going to throw those two picks.
But there was a few times where he was open, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
I think as the season progresses, they'll find ways to get Kincaid open.
He's the best receiver you have.
I don't disagree with that.
You have
He is.
to find ways to get him the ball.
And I think they will.
I'm not saying you have to force it to him like you did with Stephon Diggs. I'm saying you have to find ways to get the ball into your playmaker's hands.
Agreed. Yes, and I think that's the one thing that they're deathly afraid of is trying to force it to said receiver.
Yeah.
Because you saw how that worked.
Well,
it does not.
But you and I both know there's a difference, right? There's forcing the ball to a receiver all the time because they're a diva, or there's getting the ball into your playmaker's hands as many times as possible.
Right, but
and that's what you have to do as a football team.
No, I get that, but I don't want him to force passes that aren't there. Now, if
No.
it's there, by all means, get it to him.
Well, and if it's not there, figure out a way to get it there. You have to figure out a way to get your best guys to football. You have to figure out a way to get them open if you're throwing them the football.
Right.
And if not, you have to figure out a way to get them to football. Like that's why they started running receivers on end arounds.
Yeah.
They're fast guys. They're athletic. You got to find ways to get your best players to football.
And I think that's what's going to happen as the season progresses. I think they're going to scheme up stuff to make that happen, to get him open. Just like they did with basically every other great tight end. They obviously with Kelsey and Gronk and those guys.
Yeah.
They schemed up game plan to get these guys open.
They're going to have to because, listen,
I think they
Arizona,
will.
as good as the offense is going to be this year, and I think they are going to be good, and I'm still on that one. You saw glimpses of it in this game when they traveled to Buffalo. But they're not one of the upper echelon teams in the NFL as far as offense goes. And if Buffalo's defense is going to be anything like it was at home in the first game against Arizona, that offense is going to have to score points, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Which means you have to find ways to get your playmakers the ball.
That's
That's the end all be all of
You're
it.
right.
And if they bracketed him and took him out of the game, that's a lesson to learn then. You got to figure out how to not let that happen in the next game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on from that one, Bengals. What happened? What happened?
What?
what if you're in a survivor pool, like whoever's in a survivor pool, it's probably done.
I think 46% of all survivor pool losses were the Bengals.
Oh yeah. I had zero doubt about that.
And that was ugly, dude.
That was very ugly. I know that Chase didn't do any training camp or anything.
Jamar Chase was
and you're missing
limited.
T. Higgins.
He was
Okay.
limited. T. Higgins was out.
But you're still better than that team.
And
you played at
should
home.
be. Yeah.
That's a game you can't lose.
I mean, there was only one uglier actually two. There was two uglier performances this weekend. We'll get to those.
Yes,
but
we will.
I don't have anything to analyze here other than it was really ugly.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati's, I think they will, but they have to find a way to right the ship. And it can't just be that Jamar Chase was limited and T. Higgins was out. Like, there was something else there, man. Those two guys don't make up your entire team. Your whole team looked off.
They did. You're right about that. Even watching the game on Red Zone, I was like, what is happening here?
It looked like nobody showed up.
Yeah.
It actually looked like your team didn't even make it to the stadium,
Right.
and you decided to dress some fans up.
Maybe they were
and play.
Maybe they were 2 hours away like the Packers.
That's how bad that was, man.
It was really bad.
Let's put it this way. If you were watching just the Red Zone channel, you probably missed every bit of that game.
Right.
Because that was not on the Red Zone channel, but twice.
Right. Well, going from something that was that bad in the Bengals to going to something that was really good and really fun to watch, The Texans Colts game.
Yes,
That was a fun game to watch.
it was, and
I think the Texans are for real.
absolutely. Defense needs to tweak it a little bit. They
They
allow
do.
some big plays, real big plays.
Oh, yeah. I'm still not sold on Anthony Richardson. However, that throw he made, like literally off his freaking toe, it threw like 70 yards in the air. That's crazy.
That's
That's ridiculous.
it's nuts.
I mean, there might be like one or two other quarterbacks in the league that can do that.
Maybe.
Maybe. But that throw, great. However, you're still very inaccurate.
Well, and so that's what he's got to. That's what he's got to hone in on, right?
Yes.
I mean, that was kind of his thing coming out of college, right?
Yes.
Is that he was a deep ball diva. He relied on the deep ball, and he relied on his receivers getting wide open deep, right?
And you can't do that in the NFL.
Well, now it worked in this game, but they weren't wide open. They
No.
just made good catches, and he put the ball where it needed to be.
Right.
So the deep throws, it's almost like he throws the deep ball more accurately than he does the shorter passes, which is weird for me. But he does. He throws a very accurate deep ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he puts it where it needs to be for the receiver to come up, go up and get it, and to take it out of in between two other defenders. It's the shorter routes where it's almost like he goes to throw it and then tries to put some touch on it. He doesn't want to throw it too hard, but he doesn't want to throw it too soft. And it's like he overthinks the shorter passes for some reason.
Yeah.
And they just kind of float on
It's
him.
like the yips.
Yeah, a little bit. It
Kinda like
is.
the yips. Like Chuck Knobloch trying to throw to fucking first base from second base. Like, you had no idea where it was
wa-
going.
It's almost like he overthinks
Yeah.
the pass when he goes to throw.
I think I think that might be a thing. Because I know, like, whenever I'm playing catch with somebody and I try to do, like, soft toss, like, I can't do it. I literally can't do it.
It's a thing.
It's
man.
weird.
Brett Favre could never throw a touch pass.
No. Yeah.
He openly admitted it.
All right.
That dude threw the ball full tilt every time.
He did.
Now, he was accurate with it, but, like, that dude didn't really, like, put touch on the football and put it over top of the defenders. Hardly ever.
I'm glad you brought up Brett Favre because it reminded me of something I wanted to talk about earlier when we talked about
Favre.
Brett Favre, when we talked about the Jets 49ers game, something about Aaron Rodgers. Do you realize he hasn't thrown for 300 yards in a game since 2021?
I did not know that.
I heard that today. I'm like, that can't be real. I looked it up. Yeah, it's fucking real.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, okay. That's a stat that I...
Well, so I guess when I think about it, his Green Bay teams that he played on since 2021 had good run games.
Yeah, they did.
So, like, okay.
But you would think at some point he would have thrown for 300 yards, you know?
Yeah.
But that sounded a crazy stat. Sorry, you reminded me
No,
of that.
that's
I wanted
a
to
crazy
bring it up
stat. I
when
like
we
that
talked
one.
about that game. But let's see what else we got here. Panthers, they might not win a game this year.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. Do what I did this week if you're in fantasy football. And what I did is, other than I'm in 4 leagues, 3 leagues. The only league I didn't play New Orleans as my defense because they were playing against the Panthers was the league where I had San Francisco's defense, and I didn't want to drop them. I wanted, like, their San Francisco's defense.
Oh, yeah.
I even put Cleveland's defense on my bench, who is a good defense, to play New Orleans. I picked them up. I drafted New Orleans defense in my last league I drafted only because I was like, I don't like the other defenses out there, and I know New Orleans is playing Carolina first week. That was it. They helped me win all 4 of my leagues this week because their defense scored that many points.
Nice.
Play any defense going against
Panthers.
Carolina.
'Cause I'm sorry.
And if you want to pick the defenses going against the Giants, that's your next best option.
I'm sorry, Bryce Young, he's trash.
Listen, man,
he's trash.
He definitely did not look good in his first game of the second season.
He looks so far behind. He does.
I can't tell you're wrong.
Like,
I can't.
I don't. Whatever. I don't get it. The Vikings crushed the Giants. The Giants are fucking terrible too.
Brian Daboll is going to be the first one fired.
Yeah.
And maybe that's overreaction Tuesday, but I mean, honestly, that team didn't even show up.
If that's what this organization was planning on this year was to be bad, then he's not going to get fired. Because they want a high pick. I get it. So I don't think they're going to fire him because of that. But if it gets to the point where it's fucking embarrassing, Yes, he will get fired.
That was embarrassing.
That was a very. It was.
Minnesota's not that good of a team, man.
No, they are not.
That was fucking
Especially
ugly.
when you're making Sam Darnold look like a fucking MVP.
Bro, that was ugly.
That is a problem. Quickly, Buccaneers, Redskins. Again, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Buccaneers, they look good. Baker looked good. I know the Redskins aren't the greatest team in the world, but
No, and they've got a rookie quarterback
They do.
who didn't look bad, but didn't look great. He looked better than Caleb Williams.
yes, he did.
He went 17 and 24 for 184 yards, 93.1 rating.
Yep. He had 16 carries, 88 yards too. With
Yep.
2 TDs.
So I mean, yeah. So I mean, he looked good
yes.
for a rookie quarterback. None of the rookie quarterbacks look great.
I was just
but-
gonna say none of the rookie quarterbacks look great
But
by any means.
if you want to look at a stat line, you look at Jaden Daniels. Listen, that guy, he looked better than the rest. Let's
He
put it
did,
that way.
yeah.
And Baker's stat line, 24-30, 289, 4 touchdowns, 146.4 rating, bro.
Baker looked good, man.
I'm just saying.
Baker looked good. He balled out, man. Good for him.
Yep. Yeah. Tampa Bay looks like they're on pace after one game. It looks like they're going to win that division again. I picked them to win it again, too. So
Well, you know who else balls out?
the Joe Wright Group.
That's right. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, and Shane Wilson a call today at 248-535-4750 to fulfill all of your real estate needs.
Yeah.
Happy Chinooka.
Happy.
I have no idea what Chinooka is.
God, I love that. Well, to that point, does Deshaun Watson even know what football is? Let's get into the Cowboys' beat down of the Browns, baby. This scoreline is actually kind of flattering. It really is.
The score, the score does not reflect how
It
bad
does
that game
not. Because that was a fucking straight up ass kicking.
They scored 14 points of the 17 in like late third quarter, fourth quarter.
Yes.
So but that was pure ass whooping.
It was.
And Deshaun Watson, 24 of 45, 169 yards, 1 late touchdown to Jerry Jeudy.
Oh, he's got another civil suit against him too.
Yeah.
Dope.
2 interceptions, 51.1 rating, along with 1 more civil suit.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this because I've been saying it all along. That was one of the worst moves made by a franchise in NFL history.
Yep.
And one of the Cleveland media went berserk on a fan that called up.
I heard this today.
And so the fan called up. The fan called up and he basically just called up and he goes 51.1 rating or 51.1 to 146.4. And the caller, the radio host goes, well, "What are we talking about here?" He's like, "Watson quarterback rating, Mayfield quarterback rating." And the guy lost his ever-loving mind on the caller. Why?
Just bringing up facts, dude.
That's the facts right now.
Yep.
Deshaun Watson, I don't know what he's seeing, but it isn't football. It isn't his wide receivers.
No.
Like he's going out there and it's basically like he's thinking every second he's out there of what he needs to do, and the minute you do that,
You're fucked.
you're beat.
You're fucked.
You're
Yep.
fucked. You can't play football anymore. You might as well just stop.
Now, I heard an interview with somebody today.
You're gonna tell me he lost his dad and he lost his best
No,
friend,
that's-
and that was why he played bad, right? No, okay,
That's not where I was
no,
going with
okay.
that at all.
Sorry, I thought that was where you're going because
No.
that's what I've heard too.
No, I've
and
heard
okay,
that. Yes, I heard that as well.
great.
No, I was listening to an interview today with somebody who was around Brown's training camp. And to this person, his performance in week 1 was expected. Like, he looked like this in training camp. He looked like shit in training camp. So, what he did against the Cowboys, was like, yeah, that's pretty much how I expected that to go.
So I'm going to give you what should happen,
Yes.
not what will happen, because we all know what will happen. What will happen is they will keep handing him the football and having him trot out there.
Of course.
Because they're paying him that much money.
Absolutely.
And he will continue to look like garbage,
Yeah.
and they will waste a good defense because
That's another thing about that game. Their defense didn't look great either.
Well, it didn't. Okay, I understand. And Dallas doesn't have a bad offense, but their defense didn't look great. But again, how good can your defense look when your offense is going 3 and out every fucking time? I mean, when your defense is out there gassed and winded because they're on the field the entire fucking game, what do you expect?
I mean, it doesn't look great when you got an offensive lineman lying on the ground and Watson goes to give him his hand to help him up, and the lineman just says, "No." Like, he waved his hand away. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want it.
No, literally, he pushed his
He
hand
did.
away.
He literally pushed his hand away.
He tried to help his offensive lineman up.
Like,
His
nah.
offensive line was, get the fuck away from me, dude.
That's a fucking mess.
It's a complete mess. I tried to tell you guys from day one it was going to be a mess,
We
right?
were all about.
I mean,
yes, we were in full agreement with you on this.
I flat out said it was going to be a back alley abortion. It was the worst decision they could have made.
Yep.
I didn't want it to happen when it happened. But you had all these Cleveland Browns fans.
Oh, yeah, they were all on board.
that were all about it.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when he didn't look very good, then it became divided, right?
Yeah.
It was divided a little bit at first, but only the people who were like on their high horse about the allegations and stuff.
Right.
If you were just looking at it football wise, almost everybody was like, all right, it's Deshaun Watson. Fuck yeah. The guy was out of football for a year and a half. No, it's a bad fucking move.
Like, I feel like being out of football for a year and a half, not playing, is almost like being out of anything else for like 5 years.
Deshaun Watson became washed faster than Russ Wilson, and that's bad.
That is not.
He is washed.
That is not good.
He has no good football left in him. And I know I will catch plenty of shit from Browns fans for this, and I don't give a fuck. He is washed. There's no way he should be trotted out there. And here's the thing that should happen. Not what will happen. I gave you what will happen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that should happen. Hand the ball to Jameis Winston and tell your fucking $230 million quarterback who can't see straight to hit one of your fucking receivers to go sit on the fucking bench and hold a clipboard. Jameis Winston needs to be in that fucking game. And I don't even like the guy.
No. But
I think he can throw a football better than Deshaun Watson right now. And at what point in time do you look at a running quarterback?
You can throw it to both teams better than Deshaun Watson can.
Well, listen, Jameis Winston got LASIK, so maybe he can see the right teams now.
Eating those dubs, man.
But at what point in time do you have a running quarterback that you tell not to run because they look like they're running in mud?
He does look really
He's
slow.
slow.
He does look really slow.
What happened?
Yeah.
There's no good things to say about the offense of Cleveland right now as long as Deshaun Watson is there.
No,
there's nothing
you're
good to
right.
say. There's not going to be anything good to say. He might make a good play every once in a while, and then you'll have the Deshaun fucking backers
there he is.
come out and go, I told you
Yeah,
so.
exactly, yeah.
See, he's not washed. Okay, the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. He'll make a decent play every once in a while. He's not going to win you football games. If you weren't watching this game and seeing what you're getting with him right now, then you're blind.
All right, so let me ask you this. If they stick with him, which they're going to do,
They're gonna.
because obviously money, how long is it till there's a mutiny in that locker room? And the players are just like, fuck this.
Week 6.
You think so?
It might be already starting.
No. I think you're right. I think it's trending in that direction for sure. I really do. Because, like I said, you just saw it with that offensive lineman. And he can't be the only one on that team that feels that way. He can't be. I think it's going to – and this is the thing. You have a good fucking team. And you're going to fucking ruin it because you made arguably the biggest mistake in sports history contract-wise.
Uh-huh.
And you don't want to just own it.
The biggest thing in that whole scenario was they didn't want to pay Baker the money.
Right.
Okay.
But that is one of the most Cleveland Brown things ever.
But you went and paid a guy money who's worse
Right.
than him.
Right. That's what I love about
And he's proving now that he was actually a good quarterback that was put in a bad spot.
Yeah.
You could have kept him. You didn't have to pay him the absorbent amount of money that quarterbacks were
You
getting.
would have paid him like half the money.
So you could have paid him half the money you paid Deshaun,
Yes.
and it wouldn't have all been guaranteed.
No.
And you could have had extra money to put in other places to do other things. And now, again, another complete Cleveland Browns thing to do. Not only do you trade for Jerry Jeudy, who hasn't done much at all in his career,
Yep.
and extend him and up his contract. You extended his contract and gave him a ton of money before he played a single down for you. It seems like that's your thing now. But then now you go out and you sign Cadaverous Tony.
I saw that. I got to go laugh at that when I saw that.
Okay, listen. Cadaverous can't catch a football when it's thrown right to him by Patrick Mahomes. No. What's he going to do when fucking Deshaun Watson's throwing the ball 10 feet over his head or at his feet? Cadaverous can't catch it when it's thrown right at his numbers from Patrick Mahomes.
No, he can't. You look at
and the funny thing is, Watson and Mahomes were drafted in the same fucking year.
Yes, they were. That's obviously we always had the the SOL thing, and it was a thing, obviously. Mm-hmm. But now it's it's SOB now. Like, see, that is the most Browns thing ever. For the guy you let go because you didn't want to fucking pay him, and he's better than the guy you signed
for twice the amount of money.
The amount of money.
Yep.
That's fucking that's poetry. It's fucking beautiful.
Yep. And then you go out and you get a wide receiver who couldn't catch a football from the guy who was drafted behind your quarterback in the same draft. But now you have this quarterback who can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn.
No.
And you go out and sign Cadaverous Tony to what? Like, you just needed somebody else who was going to stand there and watch a football go past him?
I don't know, dude. It's so bad. Like, I honestly feel bad for you for being a Browns fan. I really do. I mean, you've been through worse.
I've been through worse. I was a Lions fan for many years. I've been through worse. I got to experience them going from 0-16, 1-15 to winning a playoff game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And, like, that was awesome, and I enjoyed that. I have no regrets, not one single letter.
And then they said, "No, we've had too much success.
Right.
Let's fuck this up."
They're like, "Hey, this is trending too much in the right direction, right? Like, we've won a playoff game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We were one play away from the AFC Championship game. This is going too well.
This is too much success.
We
shouldn't have this.
We're going to take our quarterback that actually helped us get there. We're going to get rid of him completely. Yep. Fuck him.
Yep.
You're gone, bitch. Get out of here. We're going to go get a guy that hasn't played in a year and a half, and we're going to pay him $230 million guaranteed before even taking a snap. And, oh, by the way, the guy can't keep himself out of court.
Awesome. That's a total Browns thing to do. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a shit show.
Yes, it is.
But you know what's not a shit show? Or who's not a shit show?
Sometimes. Steve from Baldwin.
Steve from Baldwin Entertainment. Yeah. Depends on what day of the week it is, but he's an entertaining shit show.
Yes.
We all know planning an event such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell at Baldman Entertainment a call today at 586-747-5402. He is the resident DJ for St. Hubert's Festival every year. If he's good enough for God, he's good enough for you. Speaking of St. Hubert's Festival, I went this past weekend, saw him DJ. It was a great time. He was there 2 days, and they had him do extra this year.
Oh, wow.
It was a fun time. Next year, if you get a chance to go back, check it out. And if you don't get a chance to go back next year, if you want to hear him DJ sooner than that, give him a call. Mm-hmm. That's Baldman Entertainment, 586-747-5402. The best decision you can make for a smooth event.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we got kind of the week one slate out of the way and we kind of reviewed it, whatever.
Yeah.
What did you think of Tom Brady?
Fucking bad, dude. It was bad.
I do believe one of us called that.
I wasn't on board with it was going to be good, but no, it was
And again, it's overreaction.
It's always overreaction Monday.
I think
Tuesday.
he's going to get better, but I don't think he's going to get better to the point where like, oh my God, he's really good. I don't think it's ever going to get to that point.
Sorry not to interrupt you. Jeremy says cadaverous, and I love that people call him cadaverous now. Cadaverous and Deshaun are going to sync up because they're both that bad that somehow it will work.
That is such Browns logic. That could actually work.
You're thinking exactly like a Browns higher staff person. Like you might as well just be on their board or be in their front office.
I think that's terrific.
That's the way the Browns think. Hey, Deshaun Watson, hey guys, listen, our quarterback looks really bad. We have two receivers who are pretty good.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper and Jerry Judy's, all right? But, like, if we get a bad enough receiver that he can sync up with how bad Deshaun is, they can make really bad decisions together on the field, and they'll sync up, and it'll turn into a good one. That's Brown's logic.
How can you go wrong? But, yeah, back to Brady.
Hodge-Badilla.
Championship.
Lock it up.
But, yeah, back to Brady. Yeah, again, this went about as expected. I didn't think he was going to be good in the booth at all. I said it from when we first heard this was going to happen. I was like, I don't think he doesn't have the personality for it.
He was boring.
He was very boring.
Vanilla.
Very vanilla.
There was the one thing I thought we were going to get with Tom Brady that we didn't get was analyzing defenses, kind of like Romo did at first, but his jumped the shark. Like, I wanted
my God, Jim!
Oh, Jim!
Yeah.
Jim!
Yeah.
Oh, Jim! What I expected, at least, what I thought was going to happen was Tom Brady was going to analyze some stuff.
Yeah.
And be an analyst, which is what he's supposed to be.
Instead of going, if you go backwards, that's not good. Yeah, no shit, Tom. Yeah. 2nd and 20 is worse than 2nd and 10. We know.
So what do you say? Dallas is going to come out and try and score a lot of points today.
Dynamite analysis.
Thank you, Booger.
Yeah, right.
I thought we got rid of you.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I watched it. I had usually I have the red zone sound on, but I had the sound on specifically for this game because I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear how he was.
I did the same thing. So for the 4:00 games, I went outside.
Yeah.
And I got 2 TVs outside now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 2 now.
I do.
Good for you, buddy.
I put one on the red zone.
Yeah.
The one that was hanging up.
Yeah.
I put the one that's down lower on just that game.
Yeah.
And I did. I turned on the sound for just that game.
Yep.
For at least a little while. Because I wanted to hear what it was.
I wanted to hear it.
It was one thing I was looking forward. One thing we talked about. We were looking forward to seeing how it was going to work out. And I'm going to tell you, I know first game jitters. He doesn't have any formal training in this and all that stuff.
From what I read, they literally did a mock season before the season even started.
Really?
Yes.
So, like,
the guy he's with, Burkhardt.
Yeah.
They did a mock season. They just called like 18 games, or whatever, or 17 games, like in the off season. Yes. That happened. And that's your week 1.
That was a waste of time then, because all those 18 games, all those mock 18 games you did, you wasted your time because that was awful.
It was not good.
And I feel horrible for Greg Olsen still because that guy was great at his job. He had a great personality. He analyzed games.
He did.
And yet this guy gets knocked out of the top spot because Tom Brady is Tom Brady.
Little to zero excitement. Very vanilla, like you said.
Very vanilla.
But like I listened to Olsen, as like the number 2 guy now, and I think he sounded better this year than he did even last year, which he was arguably the best color guy on TV.
Yep.
Like that dude just fucking gets it.
Yep.
Now, what I think they should have done if they were fucking smart is made it a 3-man booth.
Right.
Just done Olsen, Brady, and Burkhardt. That would have worked. I think that would have absolutely worked.
I think that would have worked because I think Olsen could have gotten Brady.
Yes.
To break out of his shell a little bit.
100%.
They could have interacted, whereas
yes.
Burkhardt's not going to get Brady to come out of his shell and actually interact. And Brady's kind of a vanilla fucking boring person anyway,
But
right?
he was funny at his roast. That doesn't translate.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying he doesn't have a personality. I'm saying it doesn't come out well when you put a camera on him.
Is that a new SOT? Congratulations?
Oh, congrats, Jeremy. You got another bun in the oven.
Good job, buddy. You slipped one past the goalie. Congratulations.
He shoots, he scores.
Attaboy.
Congrats, brother.
But yeah, I think that's what I think they should have done. Made it 3. And you know what? Honestly, I think that's what they're going to do next year. I think they're going to make it a 3-man booth.
If they don't, it's a travesty.
Agreed.
Because 1, Olsen deserves it.
Yes.
And 2, at this point in time, we'll see how it happens, how it goes. But
because
I don't think Brady does deserve it.
No.
It's just his name. The only reason Olsen got knocked down is because he wasn't a starting quarterback in the NFL that won 7 Super Bowls. That's it. Because Brady had nothing on his resume to show that he was going to be good at this.
You know what absolutely amazes me is that this dude is getting paid more to analyze a game
Yep.
than anybody that's playing is getting paid.
Yep.
Which is absurd to me.
Yep.
Absolutely absurd to me.
Once again, Fox throwing money away.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm trying to find out Olsen's contract. 'Cause I think it's up after this season. That's what I'm trying to find out right now. Yeah, I don't.
What's up after the season?
Greg Olsen's contract.
Ooh. I hope somebody poaches him and makes him their number one.
I hope CBS poaches him and said, bye, Tony. Deuces.
Same. But they won't do that either, though.
No, they're not going to do that. No, they're absolutely not going to do that.
Somebody needs to poach him, though, if his contract's up.
But where does he go? They got to see, where does he go?
Dude, that Thursday night fucking crew could use him.
That Thursday crew just needs to be revamped. I love Al Michaels. I do. But he's done. It's done.
He's done,
It's done,
man.
He doesn't give a shit.
I have the utmost respect for him, but, dude, you gotta be done with that at this point.
Yeah,
I would take Olsen over every single color commentator there is.
I would too.
Every one of them.
The only one I would say is even in the same ballpark as Aikman, because I think Aikman's pretty good. I do. But I still take Olsen over him.
I would too, and I would too, but I think Aikman might be wearing thin on me a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. You know what I mean? But other than that, no, I mean, they're the closest two.
Yeah.
And I like Herbie, too. I like Herb Street.
Yeah, I do too. But it's just Herb Street's more college. I'm sorry. It's just
when I hear his voice, I automatically think college, and you're right.
It's hard for me to take him serious.
But he does well doing the NFL.
He does.
You're right. His voice just makes you think college.
Yeah, it's more contract. It is what it is. I just don't know who would poach him. I really don't.
Anybody. Please, fucking anybody.
That would be nice.
Because Fox basically just screwed him.
They did. I mean, I understand why they did it. Because it's Brady.
Yeah, but again, it's just a name. If he's not going to be any good, didn't you pick up on the Tony Romo shit that everybody was talking about? Tony Romo wasn't even as good of a quarterback. Nowhere near.
No.
And he came out and within 2 years jumped the shark on being a good broadcaster.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And with Tom Brady's boring, vanilla-ass personality, you thought that was going to go over well in the booth.
I don't know when his contract expires. I can't find it. But anyways, I think the only way they keep him is if they put him in a three-man booth.
Yeah.
Is for the top game. I think it's the only way they keep him. Or else he's going to go somewhere else. He's going to obviously go to – he's not going to NBC unless Collinsworth just says, all right, I'm done. And then I think he'd go to NBC, which Collinsworth is not leaving anytime soon. Obviously, I don't think he's going to go to Amazon for Thursday nights. There's really not an option for him unless he decides to stay at Fox, which why would you do that? If Brady's going to be there for 10 years, which I don't think there's any fucking way Brady stays there for 10 years.
Wow. So I can tell you this. So Olsen's contract was worth $10 million annually.
And it got dropped down to like 3.
Yeah. It was $10 million annually when he was calling the network's number one game.
Yeah.
On the number 2 team, he's due $3 million a year. He took a $7 million a year pay cut because Tom Brady came in and got paid $350 million.
Yeah. So if I'm him, my next negotiation, I'd be like, either put me in the number 1 booth or I'm leaving. Bye. Simple as that.
So Romo's lead analyst gig is $180 million, and he's with CBS through 2030. Chris Collinsworth is the top analyst at NBC alongside Mike Tirico.
Yep.
He was reportedly in contract talks in 21 to extend through 2025 at $12 million annually.
All right.
The results of those talks were not made public,
right?
But he remains on NBC. Herb Street is entering his second season calling games alongside Al Michaels at Amazon. He reportedly makes $10 million annually in the role that allows him to continue covering college football on ESPN. Let's see. He'll enter the third year of his next season of a reported 5-year deal and a $92.5 million contract.
Who, Herb Street?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, no, Aikman.
Oh,
Aikman
Aikman.
has the Monday Night Football gig alongside Joe Buck.
But they're
Sorry,
not- they're not
he
leaving
enters his
anything,
third year of a 5-year deal at 92.5.
which they're not breaking that up anytime soon. either.
No.
They paid way too much to get those guys, both those guys. The only one I can see is if Collinsworth bounces, or they bump him up to the number 1 booth and make it a 3-man booth with Fox.
Yeah.
That's because if I were him, I'd be livid. Like, not only did you bump me down to the second booth,
Yeah.
but you literally just destroyed my salary. Like, really?
Destroyed it.
Destroyed my salary. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting.
It's
when
pretty.
his- when
It's
his
pretty.
deal is up.
It's pretty shitty when you're actually the best
Yes.
at your job, and you get demoted because of a name,
Right.
and yet you're better than all the other guys
Yes.
that are doing it, who are getting paid way more than you are.
Like the internet generally doesn't agree on a lot, but I think it's pretty much agreed that he's probably the best color guy in the NFL. Like, period. He just
Yep.
is. But I'm curious to see how that plays out. So,
Same.
anyways, and one more thing. Did you hear when I was listening to something today? It was like a Niners insider. I don't know how accurate this is.
Yeah.
But they were talking about McCaffrey
Yeah.
and what kind of injury he has.
Yeah.
Achilles tendonitis.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Eee.
Yeah. Not ideal.
That's not good.
That is not good.
Not good at all.
But yeah, that's again, I don't know how accurate that is, but the guy that was talking who said it seemed pretty legit.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay, you might know.
That's
So
not good.
Fantasy owners might want to keep a lookout for that. So
I only have in one league, and I didn't even want to take him in that one,
Right.
but I had the number 1 pick, so I had no fucking options. Really, it was you take CMC or you look like a dumbass. In hindsight, I wish I'd have looked like a dumbass because I would have taken Brees Hall. So,
anyways, with that, do you want to hit the picks?
hit the picks?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
This segment is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group.
It's time!
Yeah, it is time for the picks, and apparently we did really fucking shitty last week. So how about you rattle that off?
Well, we did really fucking bad last week.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the world needs ditch diggers, too.
and that was
And
us.
If we were like professional gamblers, yeah, that's probably what we'd be doing right now. So.
So let's see. So go from the week before. I was 5-2. You were 2-5. Frank
Yeah.
was 3-4, and Eric was 4-3. So this week, I'm actually separating the college picks from the NFL picks. I'm giving them both separate. So
Okay.
Eric went 1-5 in his college picks.
Okay.
That's bad. You and I weren't much better. We were 2-4.
Okay.
Frank went 3-3 with his college picks. Very much mid.
Mid. Yes, very much.
Very mid. NFL picks. You and I were the caboose at 3-6-1.
Jesus.
Yes. No, there was no Jesus involved in there. It was all bullshit. It was all awful. No Jesus involved. Eric 4-5-1,
All right.
and Frank was 5-4-1.
Good for you, Frank.
So that translates to Frank is 11-11-1. He is the epitome of mid.
Yeah, I'd say.
11-11-1.
Right.
He's the best of all of us.
All right.
I'm behind him at 10-12-1. Eric is 9-13-1. And Chris, you are 7-15-1.
That's not good.
None of us are good at all.
That's like Deshaun Watson bad.
Yeah, that's Deshaun Watson bad. That is Danny Dimes bad.
That's like those are rookie numbers, man. You got to bump those up.
Yeah, those are Caleb Williams numbers.
All right.
Frank was at least Jaden Daniels.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully with this slate we can kind of do a little bit better this week.
Fingers crossed,
Jeez.
man, because it can't get much worse.
No. So we're gonna start off with Arizona taking on Kansas State. Kansas State's laying 7. We all took Kansas State.
You was farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off.
Yeah. Next up, we got Alabama laying 16, taking on Wisconsin. We all took Bama.
Never go for a retard.
Next up, we got LSU laying 7.5, taking on South Carolina. You took South Carolina. The rest of us took LSU.
Fuck you both.
Nice. That was a good one. After that, we got Boston College taking on Missouri. Missouri's laying 16.5. You guys took Mizzou. I took BC.
Hello, motherfucker.
After that, we got the Civil War. It's Oregon laying 16, taking on Oregon State. You took Oregon State. The rest of us took Oregon.
Joe agrees.
Joe does not agree.
Joe agrees with Joe.
Apparently.
Eric says, "Oh hell, boys, going to be a long year at this rate."
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough out there.
Yeah, it's not looking good so far,
It is
brother.
not. Next up, we got Frank's Notre Dame Fighting Irish laying 11.5, taking on Purdue.
You got a little wiener and some tiny nuts.
Joe, you took Notre Dame for some ungodly reason, I guess. And we all took Purdue.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. Yes. Next up, we got Ball State taking on Miami. Miami's laying 36.5. Joe, you took Ball State. Eric took Miami. Frank and I took Ball State.
Shut up. I hate you.
And rounding out the college slate, we got Arkansas State taking on Michigan. Michigan's laying 22.5. You took Michigan. We all took Arkansas State.
If we take a fucking tight end, I quit.
God, still one of the best drops we've ever had. It's so good. So good. Moving on to the NFL slate. First up, we got Buffalo taking on Miami. You took Buffalo, and the rest of us took Miami.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now.
I hope so. Next up, we got the Colts laying 3.5, taking on the Packers. Joe, you took Indy. Eric took Indy. Frank took Green Bay, and I took Indy.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
Next up, we got the Niners taking on the Vikings. San Francisco's laying 5.5. We all took the Niners.
Quebec, go ahead.
Oh, my God. Next up, we got your Browns taking on the Jaguars. The Jaguars are laying 4, which I'm very kind of surprised about that. But you guys all took Jacksonville. I actually took the Browns. You can't let that shit happen. You can't. I have confidence in their defense, man. I think their defense is going to steal one.
It might.
Next up, we got the Jets laying 4, taking on the Titans. Joe, you took the Titans. Eric and Frank took the Jets, and I also took the Titans.
I'm at my own ass.
I do. It's true. Next up, we basically got to pick them here. It's the Rams taking on the Cardinals. The Rams are laying 1.5. You guys all took the Rams. I took the Cardinals.
Hey, bro, you mind putting on some pants? I find it a little weird I have to ask twice.
After that, we got the Bengals taking on the Chiefs. The Chiefs are laying 5.5. We all took the Chiefs.
It's not illegal. It's frowned upon, like masturbating on an airplane.
Right. Next up, we got the Bears taking on the Texans. Houston's laying 6.5. You took the Bears for whatever fucking reason. And we all took the Texans.
Fuck you, blow me.
Yep. Next up, we got the Falcons taking on the Eagles. The Eagles are laying 6.5. We all took the Eagles.
It's the Catalina fucking wine mixer.
That's right. And the last game on the NFL slate, obviously the biggest game of the week, as always. Tampa Bay taking on the Detroit Lions. The Lions are laying 6.5. Joe, you and I took Tampa Bay. These other two idiots took the Lions.
I said the Lions won the game.
Yes!
Man, we going all the way. All the way, baby. We about to celebrate. Come on, why? Because the Lions won a game, bitch.
So good. So good. And those are this week's picks.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk tune.
This fucking twat bag. I just don't understand it. Like, why is she famous? I don't get it. I really don't.
That's what our society does.
I hate it so much, man.
I can't even blame her.
No, I'm not blaming her, but
like she did an interview and the whole world blew her up,
I don't
and
get
it like she's gonna capitalize on it. Make your
No,
money,
I don't,
girl.
like,
I just that's how dumb our society is.
No, I
though.
know, and this is what I don't. This is what I hate about it. I'm not bashing her.
Yeah.
Like, you got a chance to capitalize. By all means, fucking do that shit. But it's just our society. It's like, what are we doing here?
It's so bad.
Like, because she likes to suck dick. Like that's what we're doing here.
Yeah,
All right,
it was
cool,
just
man.
the way she said it. Everyone's like, "Oh, wow, all right."
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought it was funny for like 5 minutes,
For like 5 minutes.
and then it kind of overdid itself.
Right. So, all right. Anyways, sorry.
And of course, there's probably a lot of fucking fantasy football team names out there.
Oh
that are
God, yeah.
Hawk Tua.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
HOCK as in Hawkinson, and then Tua as in
is
Tua.
Yeah.
Anything else before we get out of here?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast provider. Check out SOTDET.com. Click on shop. Buy some stuff. We would appreciate it. Also, click on the fantasy football rankings. Click on the blogs. Click on our show picks. Take a gander around the entire site. And then, once again, click back on shop. Buy some stuff. We would appreciate it. And, of course, our Sports on Tap merchandise is pretty sweet.
It is pretty sweet.
On behalf of Chris, Frank, Lady Friend, and Eric, I'm Joe. We are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye. Have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No. Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
And you were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I have ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.